Ro Khanna, thanks so much for joining the show.
And thank you for having me on. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, you bet. So let's talk about minimum wage, because you sort of made the news last week when you were criticized for some comments that you made about the minimum wage and small businesses. The implication seemed to be that if businesses weren't paying a higher minimum wage, then maybe they didn't deserve to be in business. So what did you mean by those comments?
Well, let me clarify it. I am a strong supporter.
Proportionally hit black and brown people without college degrees, particularly. So why is raising the minimum wage overall a good idea?
Well, but you're right. Right now, maybe it's 2.3%. I take your word for the study, but that's at 7.
Stores cannot. Increase in minimum wage obviously disproportionately affects places that have 3 employees as opposed to places that have 300 employees, of which 30 are actually minimum wage employees.
Well, you're right about that. And this is your
VPN for free by visiting ExpressVPN.
Regional variance, yes. And then the question becomes, what is the floor?
I mean, we have a federalist system, so there's a real easy solution here, right? I mean, we actually have like cities and states, and they could do this sort of thing.
Right, but the question is, there should be a national floor. And now I'm saying the floor should be $15. Do you believe there should be any floor? I mean, do you think, $7.25 I think is unreasonable. I mean, for example, Cotton and Romney have said the floor should be $10. I think Holly is saying it should be $15, but for billion corporations, where would you set the floor?
Really appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that clip from for having appeared on the show. Representative.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate your having a very civil, reasonable exchange. One place we agree upon is you said that I read somewhere that you believe rational debate is what's necessary in our democracy, and I wish we had more exchanges like this across the country.
No, I really appreciate it, and I certainly hope that you're not canceled. So thank you for reaching out, because you reached out after I think I noted something on the show about your comments, and so it's great to have you on to clarify your position on this, and I think it's really important to do it. So again, just want to thank you for your time.
Democrats, listen up. This is how you do it. Okay, I'm not going to sing that song. Anyway, this is how you do it. You know, I really don't understand the dysfunction in this country. It's like we have these issues and people talk about them and complain about them, but what do they do about it? I've heard a lot of talk about how we have these echo chambers. We have people living in bubbles, conservative bubble, liberal bubble, and it's destroying this country. You have the second impeachment of Donald Trump completely censored in the conservative community. So the voters who really needed to see it didn't see it because people like Ben Shapiro chose not to cover it. People like Steven Crowder chose not to show them. Right? Blaze TV only showed Trump's attorneys, only one-sided. They do this stuff all the time. That's how Trump was able to win, one of the ways he won. Not just that alone, but that's certainly one of the ways that he won. That's how he was able to stay in power and get away with impeachment twice. Because all that work that these Democrats are doing and presenting evidence and investigation, irrelevant. Conservative media is not going to show anything that makes Trump look bad. They're not going to show anything that makes people on their side look bad. They're going to come up with excuses. They're going to deflect. They're going to talk about Mr. Potato Head and cancel culture and all this kind of stuff. So you Democrats are putting on all these shows. It's like you're preaching to the choir. Your voters get it, right? When it comes to the things where you're you know, like with Trump and, you know, some of the corruption that we see on the Republican Party, your voters get it, right? And all the stuff you're doing, the people watching it are your voters. The other half of the country is not seeing the stuff that you guys are doing. I tracked conservatives regarding AOC raising $5 million, completely suppressed. They weren't even willing to do a video about it and maybe say, oh, she's doing it just for PR. That's too good of a thing for a Democrat to do, for them to be honest and show their audience. What's the effect of that over time? If all I show you is negatives from the left, anything positive, I don't show you. It's almost like a form of brainwashing. But here's the thing. Democrats know this, right? They talk about this. But what are you doing about it? Where's the fight to deal with the thing that is destroying this country, that's dividing this country, these bubbles? I just don't get the dysfunction. If I were crazy enough to be in politics, one of my priorities would be I would be going after all of these conservative channels and liberal channels as well. I'll call them out for when they not being honest, not reporting on things. I would do these interviews in CNN and say, hey, CNN, right now Antifa has been rioting and I don't see any coverage on your network, but yet every time something happens on the right, I see you all over it. What's up with that? But in particular, talking about right now, when it comes to conservatives, I would be reaching out to Ben Shapiro, Tim Pool, Blaze TV. I'll be reaching out to every single right-wing channel. And I don't care, can't cancel, what? Man, whoever wants to cancel me, good luck. I'm going to let everyone know what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. And if people still don't get it, that's on them. But I'm going to see a problem. I'm going to come up with a solution. And I'm going to try to address it, not just sit around, oh, there's echo chambers and bubble and this and that, and the conservative. What you doing about it? They're right there. You don't think they would have you on their show? Some of these guys think their ships don't stink. They'd love to have you on there and try to own you, right? Reach out to them. And if they don't respond and they don't let you on, you call them out. Use your social media. Call them out. Why is it that Ben Shapiro is saying all this stuff about Texas? When I reached out to him to have a talk, he doesn't want to meet up. What's up with that? Then you reach out to the next one and the next one, and they'll have you on. Maybe not all of them, not all the time, but they'll have you on. And then what happens? You get in front of the audience. You get in front of these people who don't know the truth, who've been brainwashed by these people. Get on their channels. Use their own channels to get to their audience to let them know the truth. Stop playing these games of you're talking about echo chambers, but yet you're living in an echo chamber. Oh, well, how are you going to go on Fox News? Fox News is... How in the hell are you going to talk to people that you acknowledge live in a bubble without you going in the bubble and visiting and dialogue and having a dialogue with them? Like, I don't understand. Like, what is the logic or mentality? You have a severe problem destroying this country. Look what it's brought us. Donald Trump almost won, acquitted twice. We have a whole bunch of other people that want to be the next Donald Trump lining up. We've got to get things under control. And the way to do that is to address, well, one of the ways, an important way, important parts of it, any strategy to deal with the issues is you got to get in that bubble. I don't understand the logic. I mean, it's like you're in a school and it's got some kind of annex where there's certain students go over to that annex as another part of the campus, right? And you're on the other side talking to people on that side and complaining about the people on the other side of the school that somehow, they're over there and we're over here and, it's they're not getting it. Go over there, dude. Is it really that complicated? You got a nation divided into two halves, two major echo chambers. You recognize this, but yet not smart enough to think about the idea of, hey, let me go talk to these people. Let me go to their platforms. Let me go and do the conservative media tour and hopefully do a better job than this guy did. It wasn't bad, but he could have done a better job. I think he could have done a better job. There's a lot more points to be made. But look at the responses, Democrats. Look at the responses that you can get. I'd much rather have this guy than Schumer and Pelosi. Are you seeing this? You guys stay over in your bubble. Conservative media sits over there smearing, oh, CNN this, that. And hey, I do it too. But I do it on both sides, right? So I'm not pushing a narrative that, oh, it's the liberals. No. Media. But you going over on CNN and MSNBC and saying, they're not hearing you, man. Only thing they're going to hear is Ben Shapiro is going to take a clip from CNN and Stelter, cancel culture, potato head. Get out of that echo chamber. And then this narrative that, it's not worth it. These Trump supporters, they're cultists. Yes, they are cultists who follow Trump. But there's millions more people that you can reach out to that will listen to you if you actually got outside of your own bubble. There's Trump voters who will listen to you. There's even Trump supporters who will listen to you. Trumpists, unless you're a psychologist or something, they're not going to listen to you. but that's one of the smallest groups, right? Most people who voted for Trump are not Trumpists, not by a mile. There's a lot of people that you can reach out to, get a dialogue, and bridge the divide in this country. If Biden was any good as a president of the United States, he would pick somebody, and that's their mission. Destroy these echo chambers. They go over to liberal media, call them out. Go over to conservative media, call them out. It's like people just think so black and white. It's like either we deplatform. That's like it's deplatform or freedom of speech, right? So it's like, oh, let's shut down Fox News. Like there's nothing else you can do. Like you can't actually talk to Fox News. Like I'm not in the government, so I don't know all the stuff they can and cannot do. But even the idea of calling in Fox News for some kind of hearing, right? Not stopping them from broadcasting, not messing with their freedom of speech, but we're calling you in. Let's talk about what's happening. How can we work together? This is the behavior that we're seeing that you guys are doing. This is the damage that is being caused by what you're doing. What can we do to make it so that you will consider at least modifying your behavior? And then they say, hey, well, liberal media, the Russiagate, we're okay. Duly noted. We'll be having some hearings with them too. I don't get it, man. I'm not a genius. Just a regular guy. Common sense. I got common sense. I mean, common sense. You got a problem. You got an obstacle. You got to work at it, man. You got to sit down and think, how can I solve this? What are my options? You don't just sit around whining and complaining about it. Year after year, decade after decade. Oh, the conservative media bubble. What you going to do about it, man? This is Debate Me channel. Debate me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, and share this video with every Democrat you know, man. We gotta stop. We gotta stop this, man. We gotta wake up. You can't just keep recognizing problems and then not doing anything about it. Look at the comments. This is interesting. This man did what AOC wouldn't do for $10,000. Respect to him.